Record. Hello all, myself Dr. Ibha Rani. Today I will be discussing about the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. So here the first, what do you mean by correlation? In this session we will discuss about that meaning of correlation, what do you mean by correlation, and how you can calculate the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. So first, we will understand what do you mean by correlation. So correlation measures the degree of relationship between two or more variables. It can be any variables. For example, height and weight. You can look into the profit and sales of a company or advertisement expense and sales volume of a company. Any two variables, how they are related to each other, that can be calculated through the statistical tools correlation. It shows how one variable changes will impact the other variable. If any changes is happening in the advertisement expenditure, how it will impact the sales volume of a company, you can calculate based on the correlation. So now when you talk about the correlation, there are different types of correlations are there. So positive correlation, negative correlation, and no correlation. Positive means if there are two variables are there, both variables are moving in the same directions. It means that if one variable, if advertisement expenses are increasing, the sales volume also will increase. That talks about the positive correlation. Both variables are positive, both variables are increasing in nature or decreasing in nature. It can be vice versa. So positive correlation talks about when both the variables will be moving in the same direction. One will increase, other will also increase. One will decrease, other will also decrease the variables. That will be known as the positive correlation. The second type is negative correlation. Negative correlation talks about when both the variables move in opposite direction. It means that when one variable is increasing, the other variable will be decreasing in nature and vice versa. That is known as negative correlation. No correlation talks about when there are no relationship between these two variables. So we cannot identify if one variable is increasing, it is not impacting the other variable. It means that is the no correlation between these two variables. Now, coming to the this coefficient of correlation can be calculated. There are two techniques are there through which you can calculate the correlation. The first one is Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, and second technique through which it is Spearman rank correlation. But in this, I will be discussing about the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. It is known as Karl Pearson's because this coefficient of correlation has been developed by the Karl Pearson in the year 1893. That's why it is known as Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. When you will look into this, it will be the coefficient of correlation will be represented as the value of small r. It is denoted by the small r, and it measures the strength and direction of linear relationship between two variables. Here these two variables I have considered as x and y. And one more thing you have to remember, always the coefficient of correlation means the value of r is always range from -1 to +1. -1 means minimum the value of r will be -1, and the maximum value of r when you will calculate it will goes to +1. If it is coming more or less means your calculation have mistaken. So you have to calculate the value correlation only. It will be the minimum range will be -1 and maximum range will be +1. Now, when we will calculate the value of r, that time we have to look into that what the value is coming after calculation based on the formula that I'll be discussing now. So based on the value of r, you can interpret the value of r based on how these two variables are correlated to each other. If the value of r is coming exactly +1, it shows that both the variables are perfectly positively correlated. If r is equal to -1 is coming, it means both the variables are negatively correlated. If the value of r is 0, means there are no correlation between two variables. And based on the value, for example, it is the value is coming between 0.75 to 1, it means there is a highly correlated, strongly positively or negatively. The sign will represent, if the plus value is showing, both the variables are positively correlated. If the minus sign shows, it is talks about that both the variables are negatively correlated. Now, how to calculate this Karl Pearson? We understand what do you mean by correlation, what does it the value should be there of R, and how to interpret the value of R, and what are the types of R. So that we have learned. Now we will look into that how to calculate the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. The here it is Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation have been denoted with the value of R, which represent the value of R can be calculated by the formula. It is the summation of dx multiplied by dy divided by root of summation of dx squared into dy squared. Now, in the questions, there will be two variables they have given. Maybe sales and profit, maybe advertisement expenses and the profit. So, these one variable we will consider as X and other variable we will be considering as Y. So, based on these two variables value, you can calculate the value of R. Here, the formula is dx summation of dx into dy. Now, what is dx? Dx is the x variables minus average of the x variable. Dy will be calculated as y variable, whatever they have given, and which should be subtracted by the average of y. So this is the formula, you have to remember it whenever you are calculating the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Now, whenever you are calculating the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, it's important to understand what are the variables required to calculate. For this, I have given this table will shows these are the variables you required when you are calculating the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. X value variables which they have given in the questions, X and Y variables. So two variables they will be giving in the question. One we will consider as X, other variables as Y. These two variables. Now you have to calculate the relationship between these two variables. So here X and Y you can see. After that we will be calculating it here the summation, the total value of X as summation of X. Y, whatever they have given in the questions, we will add all those values to calculate summation of Y. After that, we will be calculating the average of X and average of Y. How the average will be calculated means the total here summation of X by the number of observation. How many years data they have given you, the based on that N will be calculated. Summation of y also, summation of y divided by n, y average we will be calculating. After that, the third column in this format you can see which we have to calculate as dx. Dx will be calculated as the variable of x minus the average of x. Whatever average we will calculate, that has to be subtracted. Next column, the same way we will be calculating the average of y variable. Dy will be calculated as variable of y minus the average of y value. After that, we will be calculating multiplication of these two values, which is dx multiplied by dy. After multiplying, we will add this value, means summation of dx into dy. Next column is dx square. Next is dy square, so that you can calculate the value of r. So this is the format you have to make it whenever we are calculating the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation. So now I will make you understand with one example. So for example, some values they have given in the questions. Calculate the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation from the following data. So they have given the x variable and y variable, some values they have given you. Now the same table, the same way we will prepare one table. Once you will prepare the table, it's very easy. If you remember the formula easily, you can calculate the value of r. So this is the x variable they have given in the questions. This is y variable they have given in the questions. These two variables data they have given in the questions. So first we will calculate the total x value here. Summation of x is 150. Then we will calculate the y variable. So total value of summation of y, adding all the y variable, is giving 170. And this table we will leave it down. We will calculate this average of these two variables. So here you look into that, summation of x is 150, and how many variables are there? Count it: 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 150 x average will be calculated as 150 divided by 5, which will give you 30. So now we will calculate the dx value, means x variable should be subtracted by the value of x average, which is 30. So 10 minus 30 is minus 20. 20 minus 30 minus 10. 30 minus 30, 0. Like this I have calculated it here and kept the value of dx. Dx is the difference of x variable with their average of x variable. Then the same way we will calculate the dy. The total summation of y is 170 here. 170 divided by 5, which will give you here 34. Then 34, now y minus y average. 12 minus 34, 24 minus 34, like this again the dy have come. Then we will multiply these two variables, summation of dx into dy you require. So 20 minus 20 multiplied by minus 22, minus 10 multiplied by minus 10, 0 multiplied by minus 1, like that we have calculated it here. After that we will be calculating it here, the total dx and dy values. So here summation of dx into dy, we will be, after calculating this table, this column, we will be adding all these values: 440 plus 100 plus 0 plus 110 plus 440, which gives this value of 1090. Now the next column we will calculate the dx square, which we have calculated here. Dx is minus 20 minus 10. So dx squared will be minus 20 multiplied by minus 20, which will give you 400, 100, 0, 100, 400. So this value, after that calculating the d square, we will add all those value here. So summation of dx squared is 1000. The same way we will calculate for dy square. Dy we have calculated as here minus 22 minus 10 minus 1. So it will be dy square is 484, 100, 121, like this. So summation of dx square we have calculated 1090. So now we will put this value in the formula. The formula of Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation is r equal to summation of dx into dy divided by root of dx square and dy square. So we have calculated here dx into dy is 1090, dx square is 1000 and dy square is 1190. In the previous table we have calculated all those values. So after that we have calculated the r, and the value is coming, after calculation the value of r is coming 0.999. It means it is very close to 1. You can write it r is equal to 1. It means that both the variables are perfectly positively correlated. So whenever r, the first thing, if r value of r is plus, it means positively correlated. If the value is close to 1, it means perfectly positively correlated. So I hope you could have understood but the concept of correlation, meaning types, and how to calculate the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. So, thank you so much.